into the mains right now, and this is where it's time to put up or shut up, right?
Yeah, you've done your qualifications now. You're either in the A main or the B main. Remember, if you're in the B main, you can still get in on the podium by winning the B main and moving to the A.
Well, if you also want to find out more about Global Rallycross, you can do that on Facebook. Facebook.com/Global Rallycross or Twitter.com/Global Rallycross as well. So be able to check all that stuff out as well. You can do that in the social media, making things happen. Well, the mains are up. The two-wheel drive categories in the main, they are coming up for you. They're going to be the first ones taken to it in the mains. They'll be followed by the all-wheel drive, and then it'll be the A finals for both of them, two-wheel drive and all-wheel drive. But let's send things back downstairs to Brando one more time. Take it away, Brando.
Yeah, guys, just a couple of quick updates. First, you might realize Marcus Dodd has not been out competing today. That's because he discovered this morning at the driver's meeting that his father became quite ill. So family first, he decided to fly back to England. That's why you haven't seen Dodd out there competing in the all-wheel drive today. Also, if you look over here, over my shoulder, you'll see the Miracle Man. Dave Mira may have one more up his sleeve as his crew is working feverishly to get this thing ready to roll. We haven't heard yet, but it's looking good, like they might be able to get this car up and running today. All hope is not lost. Guys, back up to you.
Get out of here. Are you kidding me? That car is going to come back out?
Gotta get it out to those Subaru
What
boys.
You know what? I want these guys to be my mechanic at home.
Well, any team that's run Pastrana and Block and Mirror had a lot of practice at getting cars back together, and this is just great.
Yeah, especially for Block and Pastrana. I mean, how many times have they put their cars out of commission and Subaru put them back in? And then you got to give it up for Subaru because they did it the last stop in Irwindale. They put Dave's car back together, but now it is all about the two-wheel drive cars as they're getting ready to go. Randy Zimmer in the number 64, 96 Mazda. He's going to start things off, and then you move on over to our next competitor, number 141. Oh, yeah, that's none other than Sean Medcroft in the 86 Merkur. And then we cruise on over to our next driver they're going to be seeing out here in the number 466, Brian Gottlieb, out here ready to make things happen in the 88 Toyota FX16. And then moving on to the guy who won things out in Irwindale. He knows how to make things happen. Dylan Van Way, the number 600. So we'll see how Dylan Van Way, he had some problems with that car. He got it back together. And then the guy who has a corner named after him. Yeah, the 79 Dodge Omni, number 85, Doug Folsom. And we all remember earlier Doug Folsom, he rolled that car, and we renamed that corner after the Boneyard, Folsom's Corner.
I think if you roll a car, you should have a corner named after you, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, do you get the jump named after you if you don't get over there?
Sure. But one thing I want to tell you now, look, this is the first time today, 5 cars on the grid.
Wow.
The other thing that comes with 5 laps. So this is the B main, 5 cars, 5 laps. The winner advances to the A main and the chance to stand on the top step of the podium and get those points to go towards X Games.
So we'll be handing out the awards on the podium after we finish the A final for two-wheel drive. We'll do the same thing for the A final for the all-wheel drive as race controls about ready to start our drives. Looks like we're getting thumbs up.
5 cars into 1 corner. Here we go. It's a pretty even break. Medcroft gets squeezed out, has to dab the brakes. Now Dylan Van Way, definitely the favourite, gets into the bottom corner first. Goes onto the Boneyard, but they bunch up as they go into Boneyard. Doug Folsom's trying to go around the outside of Brian Gottlieb. We saw what happened earlier with Richard Burden, but he's still going around the outside of Brian Gottlieb. Coming into Folsom's corner itself, Dylan Van Way leads. Okay, followed by Doug Folsom's going up the inside of Brian Gottlieb. He wants to be in that A main. This is it. Put up or shut up. Go home time. Randy Zimmer losing a bit of body work. But Dylan Van Way in the warehouse, leading now. And there's sparks coming out of Dylan's right front wheel, like the brake is locking on it or something. Let's see if we can catch that again. But Dylan Van Way, see who takes the Joker early. Dylan Van Way's taking the regular course. Randy Zimmer following him through. Doug Folsom is taking the Joker, so Doug Folsom is going to jump into the lead. Sean Medcroft is following. Now, the danger for Dylan Van Way of not taking the Joker early is he could catch these cars up and lose time that he needs. So let's see. Dylan Van Way comes through. He's onto the Boneyard. And Doug Folsom's already going round Folsom's corner.
So without a hitch, Folsom getting around it.
So 4 laps to go now for Doug Folsom. He hasn't done the joker yet. Then Sean Medcroft, Dylan Van Way, Randy Zimmer and Brian Gottlieb. Into the warehouse they go. This was when we could see the sparks last time. Let's see if we see the same thing again. Here we do. There is definitely sparks coming off the bottom of the calipers of Dylan Van Way as he goes onto heavy braking in the warehouse. Very, very spectacular coming through there. Doug Folsom gets it a little bit wrong going into the hairpin section. That's cost him a lot of time. Dylan Van Way goes through on the joker lap into the lead.
So Dylan Van Way doing what he needs to do right there, just kind of run his race, but we'll see if that car can hold up for Dylan Van Way.
Yeah, there's a very strong battle for second place. Sean Medcroft is coming into second place from Doug Folsom now. Of course, Brian Gottlieb then goes in front because he took the joker lap. But Sean Medcroft's in a good position here because there's definitely something on the right front of Dylan Van Way's car under braking. Sean Medcroft in second with Folsom behind. Brian Gottlieb leapfrogged him with the joker. So Brian Gottlieb, Sean Medcroft, Doug Folsom. Into the warehouse they go, into the darkness. Dylan Van Way's been in and out of the warehouse. Comes over the bump, 3 laps to go now for Dylan. Down into the hairpin. Medcroft comes through the kink, through the short chute. Lost some time there to Brian Gottlieb. Tried to get on his back, but Brian kept it smooth. Sean drifted a little bit out once again as Folsom drifts out. Second lap running, he's doing that. Now Randy Zimmer comes through on the joker. Folsom's lost too much time now. So Randy Zimmer jumps up into second place.
And Folsom with some problems, having to back up, so not getting around that hairpin. That's going to cost more time to Folsom as Dylan Van Way makes his way.
2 laps to go now for Dylan as he comes through into the warehouse. Let's see if we can see this. It could just be the brake disc, but something definitely not only glows, the sparks have gone this time when he went into the corner. Randy Zimmer got it wrong as he came out the S's. That allowed Brian Gottlieb and Medcroft to catch him up. Dylan Van Way down now into the hairpin section. He doesn't have to worry about time, remember. All Dylan needs to do is win. If he wins, he's in the A final. Dylan, who had bad luck in Irwindale, had a big, big crash. Remember, you can see that tonight. Had a big crash at Irwindale when he was a dominant car. You see Randy Zimmer going around the hairpin now, followed by Gottlieb, who just had a problem in that section. Dylan comes around. He sees the 1 lap to go board as he comes through Folsom's across the line. That's what he wants to see. Just take his time now. He's got a massive lead here as Medcroft tries to go up the inside of Gottlieb on the boneyard. Oh, he has to back out of that. Otherwise, he'd have been pushing Gottlieb over the barrier. But Gottlieb's got it very, very wide. But round Folsom's, these guys are having a great fun, these Northwest drivers. They're enjoying this now. So Gottlieb comes through on the S's. Windscreen wipers going. Randy Zimmer's in the warehouse. Medcroft is trying to catch them up. Sean Medcroft, who only decided to enter this race at the last moment after a lot of pressure from some friends. We see Zimmer go out through the short chute. Dylan Van Way comes around the other hairpin. Pulls the e-brake as he goes around. So Dylan Van Way through the funnel. Going to come onto the boneyard for the last time.
This is what he needed to do. Dylan Van Way needed to take the win out here to try and make it into the A-Main. And he's doing just that as the checkered flag is out. And here he comes. Crossing is Dylan Van Way, taking the win right there. Dylan Van Way taking the top spot, and here comes Randy Zimmer. Randy Zimmer grabbing the second spot as he comes around Folsom's corner and crosses in. So Randy Zimmer, and then Sean Medcroft. Sean grabbing the third spot, and Brian Gottlieb will be coming in too as well. Here we go.
Oh! And in the background there, you saw Sean Medcroft. Behind Sean Medcroft, Brian Gottlieb managed to hit the tire on the inside of Folsom's corner, pushed him back out, didn't flip or anything, but pretty spectacular last lap of the last race for him for the day.
Yeah, and that hood's popping around right there for Gottlieb. That'll finish it off, getting across the line.